My parents forgot my birthday 3 times because their golden child had another meltdown. After 15 years, I finally stopped showing up. On my 18th birthday, my parents forgot again. Not because they were busy. Because my brother threw another meltdown, and they ran to him like it was an emergency. Beat. I didn't shout. I didn't beg. I made one small change. I stopped reminding them, and I started saving receipts. My name is Jordan. I'm 31, and I'm from Milwaukee. Pause. I grew up in a family where my brother Tyler was the big personality, and I was the easy kid. Beat. If you've ever been labeled the easy kid, you already know what that means. It means your needs get treated like they can wait. And then, eventually, they get treated like they don't exist. Pause. The third time my parents forgot my birthday was my 18th. It was a Monday. School day. I had a final in second period. And because I was still trying to be optimistic, I told myself, it's fine. We'll do dinner. They'll remember. Beat. My mom had even mentioned it the week before. 18 is big, she said. We'll do something. So I did what I always did. I kept expectations low, but I kept hope alive. That afternoon, I got home, and the house was quiet. No balloons. No happy birthday banner. Just the hum of the refrigerator and a sink full of dishes. Pause. I checked my phone. No texts from my parents. No missed calls. Tyler had moved back in temporarily a few months earlier after he'd quit a job in a dramatic way that turned into a whole family meeting. He was 20 at the time. He could be charming. He could also be loud when he didn't get what he wanted. Beat. I went upstairs to my room and tried to focus on studying. At 6:10 p.m., I heard the front door slam. Then my mom's voice sharp, urgent, like somebody was hurt. Honey, no, please. Then Tyler's voice louder. I'm not doing this. I'm done. My dad's voice joined in. Tyler, calm down. I sat on my bed and stared at the wall, because I knew the script. Tyler's big feelings would become the main event, and everything else would get postponed, including me. Pause. A few minutes later, my mom opened my bedroom door without knocking. Her eyes were wide. Jordan, hey, we're going to have to reschedule dinner. I blinked. What? She spoke fast, like speed would turn it into an apology. Tyler is having a situation. We have to go. He's not okay right now. I swallowed. It's my birthday. My mom froze for half a second, just long enough for the truth to land. Then her face did something I still remember clearly. Not guilt. Not surprise. A kind of irritation. Like I'd brought up a minor inconvenience at the wrong time. Beat. Oh my gosh, Jordan, she said. Yes, I know. Happy birthday. But we'll do it tomorrow. Please don't make this harder. Human interjection. If you were me, right there, what would you do? Because every part of me wanted to say, when is it ever my turn? But I also knew how it would go. They'd call me selfish, Tyler would storm out again, and I'd become the villain for wanting one night. So I nodded. Because I was trained to be the kid who nods. My mom ran back down the stairs. My dad followed. And within 2 minutes, the house was empty again. Pause. I sat there alone on my 18th birthday, listening to the quiet settle like dust. Then, at 7:02 p.m., I got a text from my mom. Sorry, honey, we'll celebrate soon. Tyler needed us. That was it. No phone call. No plan. Just soon. Mini cliffhanger. And something about that word soon made me realize there was a chance it would never happen. At 9:30 p.m., Tyler came back home. I heard him in the kitchen, laughing on the phone. Laughing. So whatever situation it was, it didn't look like an emergency anymore. Pause. My mom and dad came home around 10:15 p.m. My dad walked past my room without stopping. My mom knocked lightly and peeked in. Hey, she whispered. You awake? Yeah, I said. She gave me a small smile. We'll do something this weekend. I looked at her and said, calm. You said that last time. Her smile tightened. Jordan. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't cry. I just said something I'd never said before. I'm not reminding you anymore. Beat. My mom blinked. What? I repeated, I'm not reminding you anymore. If you remember, you remember. If you don't, I'm done pretending it doesn't hurt. She stared at me like I'd spoken a foreign language. Then she said, You're being dramatic. I nodded once. Okay. And that's when I made the one small change. I opened my notes app and created a list called Birthdays, Receipts. I wrote 3 dates, 3 birthdays, 3 moments. Because this wasn't the first time. Aunt Kara's text was the moment I realized something else. It wasn't just that my parents forgot. It was that they were already rewriting it. Pause. I replied, I never said that. Aunt Kara typed back, call me later. So I did. Kara was my mom's older sister. She had the rare skill of staying calm while telling the truth. And in my family, that made her difficult. When I called, she didn't waste time. Your mom told me you were too busy and you didn't care about birthdays, Kara said. I laughed once, quietly. That's not true. I know, Kara replied. Jordan, I'm going to ask you something, and I want you to answer honestly. Okay. Has Tyler ruined more than just this birthday? She asked. I exhaled. Yes. Mini cliffhanger. Saying yes out loud felt like admitting something I'd been protecting them from. The first forgotten birthday happened when I was 12. My parents had planned a small party at a bowling alley. Nothing fancy. Just pizza, a few friends, and one of those sheet cakes from the grocery store with too much frosting. Pause. I was excited in a kid way that I can't really access anymore, but I remember it clearly. That morning, Tyler woke up angry because my parents wouldn't let him go to a friend's house an hour away. He was 14. He wanted freedom. He wanted to feel like the rules didn't apply to him. He argued with my dad for 30 minutes. Then he went into the living room and started loudly complaining that everything is about Jordan. Which was hilarious in hindsight. Beat. Around noon, my mom came into my room and sat on my bed. Sweetie, she said softly, we might have to push the bowling thing. I blinked. Why? She looked down at her hands. Tyler is very upset. He says he feels left out. I remember saying, it's my birthday. And my mom's face did the same thing it did when I was 18, irritation disguised as sadness. I know, she said, but we're a family. We don't leave someone behind. Human interjection. You hear that and it sounds noble, right? But here's what it meant in practice. We never left Tyler behind. We left me behind all the time. They canceled the bowling party. My friends still came over. But it wasn't a party anymore. It was awkward kids sitting in my basement while my mom tried to act normal upstairs, and Tyler slammed doors and played video games at full volume like he was performing his anger. At 4 p.m., my dad said, let's do cake. We went to the kitchen. No cake. My mom had forgotten to pick it up. Because all day had been about Tyler's mood. My dad stared at the empty counter and said, Denise. My mom snapped, don't start. And that was my 12th birthday. No bowling. No cake. Just tension. Pause. The second forgotten birthday was my 16th. 16 is supposed to be a big deal in the US, even if your family isn't into big celebrations. At least a dinner. At least you made it. I had my driver's permit test that morning. I passed. I came home excited, holding the paper like it was proof I was becoming a person. My mom said, that's great, honey, without looking up from her phone. My dad said, good job. Then my mom said, we'll do your birthday dinner tonight, okay? I nodded. Hope again. At 5:30 p.m., my mom got a call. Her whole posture changed. Tyler, she said urgent, where are you? I watched her pace the living room, whispering, then speaking louder. What do you mean you're not coming home, Tyler? Then she looked at my dad and said, he's upset. He thinks we don't support him. My dad sighed. Over what now? My mom covered the phone and mouthed, he didn't get the job. Tyler had applied for a part-time job at a sporting goods store. He didn't get it. And in Tyler's world, that wasn't disappointment. That was betrayal. So my parents left to talk him down. On my birthday, they came home late, carrying fast food bags like peace offerings. My mom said, we'll do your dinner tomorrow. And my dad added, stop being mad. He's struggling. Mini cliffhanger. The message was clear. Tyler's struggles were real. My feelings were optional. So by 18, when it happened the third time, I didn't just feel forgotten. I felt predictable. Like I already knew the ending before the scene began. Pause. Back in the present, Aunt Kara listened to me quietly. Then she said, Jordan, I'm going to tell you something, and you might not like it. Okay, I said. You are not the easy kid, Kara said. You are the kid they train to accept scraps. My throat tightened. Kara continued, And your parents are going to be shocked when scraps aren't enough anymore. I didn't answer because she was right. After my 18th birthday, I stopped participating. I didn't remind my parents about my birthday the next year. I didn't bring it up. I didn't even test them. I just watched. And that year, they didn't forget the date. They remembered 2 days later. My mom called and laughed like it was cute. "Oh my gosh, I've been so busy. Happy belated birthday." I said, "Calm, thanks." Then she said, "We'll take you to dinner, your pick." And I realized something small and sharp. They could remember when it didn't conflict with Tyler. They just didn't prioritize me when it did. Human interjection. If you've ever been told, "We love you both the same," but the calendar tells a different story, you know what that does to your brain. By 20, I moved out. By 22, I had a steady job. By 24, I had a life that didn't involve managing Tyler's emotions. And that's when my parents started calling more. Not to celebrate me, to request me. By 25, I'd built a life that felt calm. I had an apartment. I had a job in operations at a manufacturing company. I had friends who didn't treat my existence like an inconvenience. And I had a girlfriend, Emma, who noticed things I'd stopped noticing because I'd normalized them. Pause. When my mom invited me over for something on my 25th, Emma asked, "Do you want to go?" I said, "I don't know." Emma tilted her head. "Do you feel safe there?" I laughed once. Safe, yes. Seen? No. So we went, but I drove separately. That was my first boundary. When I walked into my parents' house, my mom was over-cheerful. My dad looked tired. Tyler was at the kitchen counter eating chips like he lived there, which he did, on and off, for years. "Happy birthday," my mom said loudly. "We got you something." She slid a small envelope across the table. Inside was a gift card. For a hardware store. My mom said, "Since you're so responsible, we thought you'd like something practical." I stared at it. It wasn't the gift card. It was the sentence. "Since you're so responsible." Translation. You're the adult. You don't need celebration. You need utility. Human interjection. If you're thinking, a gift is a gift, I get it. But in a family like mine, gifts weren't about you. They were about your role. Then my dad cleared his throat and said, "Also, we need to talk." Of course. Tyler didn't look up from his chips. He smiled like he already knew. My mom said, "Tyler has a new opportunity." I waited, calm. Dad said, "He wants to start a business." And my mom added, "A real one this time." Tyler laughed. "Thanks, Mom." My dad looked at me. "We were hoping you could help him. Get organized. Paperwork. Budgeting. Maybe co-sign something small." There it was. My birthday wasn't a celebration. It was a meeting. Pause. Mini cliffhanger. And suddenly, the 3 forgotten birthdays made sense. They didn't invest in me emotionally because they were reserving my role as support staff. I took a slow breath. "No." My mom blinked. "No? I'm not co-signing anything," I said. "And I'm not managing Tyler's life." Tyler sat up straight. Wow. My dad's voice hardened. "Jordan, don't be like that. He's your brother." I nodded. "And he's an adult." My mom leaned in, softer tone. "Honey, it's not forever. It's just until he gets on his feet." I said calmly, "He's been getting on his feet since I was 12. Silence. Tyler laughed, bitter. "So you're still mad about birthdays?" My stomach tightened. "It's not about birthdays, it's about the pattern." Dad snapped, "Here we go." Emma, sitting quietly beside me, didn't speak. But she squeezed my hand under the table. Human interjection. If you're watching this and thinking this is where I'd explode, I understand. But I'd learned something. Exploding would give them a reason to ignore the message. Calm doesn't. I stood up. "I'm leaving." My mom's voice rose. "Jordan, we got you a gift." I looked at the gift card. "You got me a meeting." Then I left. In my car, I opened my notes app and added a new line to my receipts log. 25 gift card plus cosign request. Emma called me as I drove home. "You did good," she said. I exhaled. "It doesn't feel good." "It will later," she replied. Mini cliffhanger. I didn't realize later was going to arrive sooner than we thought. 2 months later, my mom called me crying. Not sniffling. Crying. "Jordan," she said, "we need you." I stayed calm. "What happened?" She hesitated, then said, "Tyler got into trouble financially. I closed my eyes. Because of course he did. My dad got on the phone and said, "We need you to talk to him. He listens to you." I almost laughed. He doesn't listen to me. He competes with me. My dad's tone turned sharp. "Don't make this about you." I said, "Calm. Then stop calling me only when you need something." Silence. Then my mom said quietly, We can't handle him." And that sentence was the closest thing to honesty I'd heard from her in years. Human interjection. This is the part where people expect the good kid to rescue the family, but rescuing them would mean returning to my role, and I didn't want that role anymore. I told them, I can recommend a financial counselor, I can send resources, but I'm not taking responsibility for him. My mom whispered, "So you're abandoning us?" I replied, "No, I'm refusing to be used." Then I hung up. That night, my Aunt Kara texted, "Proud of you." I stared at the message for a long time, because I realized I'd been starving for that kind of simple support. Mini cliffhanger. And the next week, the family group chat lit up with a message that showed me exactly what Tyler had been telling them about me. I used to think receipts were petty. Then I learned something. Receipts are what you use when people rewrite you. Pause. I didn't respond in the group chat immediately. I screenshot everything Tyler's accusation. My mom stopped punishing the timestamps. Then I called Aunt Kara and asked her to come over. Not to rally a team. To be a witness. Kara arrived with a tote bag and that calm face she always had. She sat at my kitchen table and said, "Okay, show me." So I did. I showed her the list in my notes app 3 forgotten birthdays, plus the later birthday meeting. I showed her the text from my mom after my 18th. Tyler needed us. I showed her my dad's text, "Please be nice to Tyler." Kara nodded slowly. This is consistent. Then she said, "Do you want to send it to them?" I exhaled. I want to end the story. So I wrote one message in the family group chat. Short sentences, calm tone. "Mom, Dad, I'm not jealous. I'm tired. You forgot my birthday 3 times because Tyler had another emergency. You also used my 25th birthday to ask me to co-sign for him. I'm not doing that. I love you, but I'm taking space. Please don't contact me about Tyler's finances again." Then I attached 3 screenshots. Just enough proof to make it real. Mini cliffhanger. The chat went quiet, and when a manipulative system goes quiet, it's usually deciding whether to apologize or escalate. My dad replied first. "Unbelievable. You keep score." Kara leaned over and whispered, "Classic." Then my mom replied, "We didn't forget. We just had a lot happening." I stared at that sentence. So I replied once. Forgetting because something else mattered more is still forgetting. Then I stopped typing. Tyler responded with a long paragraph that basically said I was selfish, cold, and ruining the family. Then he sent one final line. "If you won't help, don't come to Thanksgiving." And my mom reacted with, "Jordan, please, just come. We'll keep it calm." Keep it calm, meaning don't bring up reality. Human interjection. You know what's wild? They called me the problem for mentioning the pattern, but they never called Tyler the problem for creating it. I didn't go to Thanksgiving. I spent it with Emma and 2 friends, eating store-bought pie, watching a dumb movie, and feeling something I'd never felt on a holiday before. Peace. No negotiations. No guilt speeches. No, just smile. Pause. Then, in February, my dad called from an unfamiliar number. I almost didn't answer. But I did. He sounded different. Smaller. "Jordan," he said, "we need to talk." I said, "Calm." "About what?" He hesitated. "Tyler." "Of course." Then he said, "He took out a loan, and he put us down as responsible parties." My stomach dropped. "Did you sign?" My dad whispered, "No. But he had our information." Kara, who was at my apartment, mouthed, "There it is." Dad continued, "We're trying to fix it, but the paperwork is a mess. We don't know what's real." I stayed quiet for a beat. Then I said, "I'm sorry. That's scary." My dad exhaled like he hadn't expected empathy. "Yeah," he said quietly. Then he added, "We thought you were exaggerating about the birthdays." I didn't respond immediately, because I didn't want the satisfaction of, "I told you so." I wanted something else. Accountability. So I said, "Calm. I wasn't exaggerating. I was describing a pattern." My dad said softly, Can you help us sort the documents? And here's what I did. This is important. I didn't say yes. I didn't say no. I said, I can recommend a professional, and I can help you create a list of what you need, but I'm not meeting with Tyler, and I'm not putting my name on anything. Mini cliffhanger. My dad went quiet, like he was finally understanding that my help had terms now. He agreed. So I sent them resources: a consumer credit counselor, a legal aid clinic, a checklist for credit freezes. Then my mom called me 2 days later. She sounded exhausted. Jordan, I didn't realize how bad it was. I kept my voice gentle. Bad how? She hesitated. Tyler told us you were just resentful. He said you always hated him. I swallowed. Mom, I didn't hate him. I hated being invisible. Silence. Then she whispered, I'm sorry. It wasn't a full apology, but it was the first time she didn't argue with my reality. Human interjection. If you've waited your whole life for someone to say I'm sorry without a but attached, you know how strange it feels when it finally happens. Then my mom asked, can we meet? Just us. I said yes, but not at her house. We met at a public cafe on a Saturday afternoon. My mom showed up with a folder. Printed emails, letters, notices. She slid it across and said, I think Tyler used my email to apply for things. I don't even remember some of these. I looked at the dates. Some of them lined up with my birthday years. The emergencies. The times my parents ran out the door. Mini cliffhanger. Suddenly, I wondered, were those meltdowns always spontaneous? Or were they timed to distract? I didn't say it out loud. I just asked, where is Tyler now? My mom looked down. Staying with a friend. I nodded. And you want me to fix it? My mom's eyes filled. I want you to, not leave us. I leaned forward, calm. Then you need to stop choosing him at my expense. That's the only deal. She nodded slowly. When my mom said Tyler did it on purpose, I didn't react dramatically. I just felt tired. Tired in my bones. Pause. I asked calm, why didn't you tell me? My mom's face crumpled. Because I thought it was a phase, and because your dad said if we confronted it, Tyler would leave. I nodded slowly. So that was the truth. They chose Tyler because they were afraid of losing him. They risked losing me because I was predictable. Beat. Human interjection. If you're the predictable one in your family, please hear this: predictable doesn't mean disposable. Over the next few months, my parents dealt with the mess Tyler left behind. Not with my money. Not with my signature. With professionals. With paperwork. With reality. And Tyler? He didn't show up to take responsibility. He sent long texts about how everyone betrayed him. He demanded sympathy. My mom forwarded me one message where Tyler wrote, Jordan turned you against me. I stared at it, then said to my mom, no, Tyler's choices did that. That was new for her to hear it said plainly. My dad started therapy. My mom joined later, reluctantly. And one evening my dad called me and said, I need to apologize without excuses. I waited. He said, we treated your calmness like it meant you didn't need us. We were wrong. I didn't cry on the phone. I just closed my eyes and let the words sit. Then I said, thank you. Mini cliffhanger. That apology didn't erase the past, but it changed the future because it was the first time my dad didn't try to negotiate my feelings. A year later, Emma and I got engaged. Small moment. No big production. Just a ring, a hug, and quiet happiness. When we started planning, she asked, do you want your parents there? I said, I want them to earn it. So I told my parents the boundary. You can be involved, I said, but Tyler doesn't get access to my life through you. No surprise invitations. No, he's doing better pressure. If you want to rebuild with me, it's with honesty. My mom nodded. Okay. My dad said, understood. And they stuck to it. Tyler didn't come to the engagement dinner. There was no drama. No emergency phone call. Just a normal night. And that was the win. Not revenge. Not humiliation. Normal. Human interjection. People think justice has to look like a public takedown. Sometimes justice is just peace that finally stays. Now, the title says they lost. What my parents lost wasn't a house or a job or some dramatic downfall. They lost something quieter. They lost the ability to treat me like the backup plan. They lost the comfort of believing they could fix everything by telling me to be mature. They lost the illusion that fairness is optional when one kid is loud enough. And I lost something too. I lost the need to chase them. I stopped trying to earn basic care. Because here's the final truth. When you spend 15 years being neglected, you don't heal by finally being chosen. You heal by choosing yourself consistently. Pause. On my 30th birthday, Emma threw me a small party. Just a few friends. A cake. No speeches, no performance. My parents came. On time. My mom handed me a card with shaky handwriting that said, "I'm sorry we missed you, I see you now." I read it once. Then again. And I didn't forgive everything in 1 second. But I let it matter. Because real change is rare. And when it's real, you can feel it. Mini cliffhanger. The best part? Tyler didn't ruin it. Not because he couldn't, because he didn't have access anymore. And if you're wondering about Tyler, he's still Tyler. He still thinks accountability is punishment. He still tells people his family turned on him. But my life isn't built around his story anymore. It's built around mine. My parents forgot my birthday 3 times because my brother demanded the spotlight. After 15 years, I stopped showing up for that role. Beat. And when I did, my life finally started feeling like it belonged to me. One last thing. Pause. If you're the easy kid in your family, please hear me. Being easy doesn't mean you deserve less love. It just means you learn to survive quietly. Beat. If you like calm, documentary-style stories with receipts and a clear payoff, subscribe. I post long-form stories like this regularly. And the next one starts with a simple missed call until you realize it wasn't an accident. Subscribe for more receipts stories. Watch next.